Hello everyone. This video demonstrates how to generate and delete variables from your data file. Before we start, make sure that you have these two files on your desktop. gss2014.dta, this is the data, and SOC5070 stata1 and 2.do, this is the do file for us to demonstrate these features. Now, double-click on SOC5070 Stata1 and 2.do to launch Stata. And then scroll down to row 107. First of all, we need to set up our working directory to be the desktop. To do so, highlight row 111 and run. Make sure that you make changes to this path between the pair of quotation mark to be the path referring to your own desktop. And for my situation, this path refers to my desktop. So highlight it and run. And you can double check the result at the lower left corner of your Stata window. Make sure that this is the path referring to your own desktop before continue. Second step, start the log file so that everything we operated can be recorded. The replace option here overrides any log file with this identical name. So if you already have this file, this log file on your desktop, this file will be replaced. If you want to append to this log file, you can change the option from replace to append. And for this particular example, we just overwrite the existing log file if it exists. So highlight row 120 and click on the do button. So now you can see that the do file has already been established, and anything below this horizontal line will be recorded by this do file. And the next step, let's launch the data. gss2014.dta. Highlight row 124 and then do. Now you have the data loaded to your memory. The first thing we want to demonstrate today is how to generate a new variable from existing variables in your data file. The example here is we have a variable called weight, which is the measure of people's body weight in the unit of pound. So let's first see its distribution by list a frequency table. Tab weight. Now you see that this is a very long table because this is a frequency table for a continuous variable. Usually frequency table is more suitable for discrete variables, and because we don't have to have so many rows. But if this is the first time you has your hands on a new data, I think the frequency table for a continuous variable can also reveal some details about the data. Okay, so it looks like this variable ranges from 90 pounds to 410 pounds. Okay, so for me as a foreigner, now that I got used to the measurement unit of pound, and I want to change it to the measurement unit of kilogram. So 1 pound is about 0.453592 kilogram. So in order to transform the measurement unit from pound to kilogram, we need to multiply the variable weight by 0.453592. So in order to do so, we need to issue a command called generate. You don't have to spell that info. The first 3 letters will work, but actually the first letter will work because this command is a commonly used one, so it can be shorthanded into only the first letter G. But my habit is that even if some commands can be shorthanded, I still want to spell first several letters so that it's easier for other for readers or beginners of Stata to fully understand what I'm going to do. So here I use the first three letters, Jan, followed by a space, and then the new variable name. So this one highlighted weight underscore kg is a new variable name. Okay, so in the same data file, you can't have two variables with the same name. So variable name has to be unique, followed by the equal sign. Here I type two additional spaces before and after the equal sign. This is my personal habit. You don't have to follow it. And after this equal sign, you have the weight variable multiplied by this constant. So I have two additional spaces before and after this multiplication operator, but you don't have to follow this convention. This is my personal habit. So how about we highlight row 130 and run. You see that there's no additional output, just a warning showing you that 1361 cases contain missing value to this new variable. Okay, generally speaking, the basic syntax for gen is that the command verb gen followed by a space, and then the new variable name followed by an equal sign, and then your mathematical expression. And how about this new variable? How this new variable distribute? We can list a frequency table. If you want, highlight row 132 and run. And there's another way. Rather than listing a frequency table, how about we draw a histogram so that we can have a graphical or say visual view of the distribution of a variable. To draw a histogram, the command is HIST followed by a space, and then this new variable you just generated. So you can just highlight this part and run, but I included a option called a normal because I want to compare this histogram of weight in kilograms to a normal distribution to see if this variable has a normal or approximately normal distribution. Highlight row 133 and then click on the do button. You will have a graph like this. So the yellow bars here are the histogram, and this green line is a normal distribution. So you can compare the similarity between a theoretical distribution and your empirical distribution. Okay, so graphing is not required in this class. If you want to know more, you can use the help file in Stata. Okay, that's one example. Let's see another one. In the GSS, we have a question about how many weeks you worked last year. So actually, this variable is a count. It counts how many weeks the respondent worked last year. So let's see the distribution by listing a frequency table of the variable week SWRK on row 137. Click on 2. See that this variable is about the weeks respondent worked last year. It started from 0 for someone who never worked last year until 52. So for someone who worked full time all the time last year. Okay, so this one has a measurement unit of week. How about we want to transform it into months? So one street way of thinking is that there are 4 weeks in a month. So how about we just divide the number of weeks in by 4, and let's see the result. So we use the row 138 to realize this kind of thinking. We generate a new variable called MOSWRK. This is a new variable name. It's not conflicting with any existing variable names. A equals to a week SWRK divided by 4. So I include 2 additional spaces before and after the divided by operator. You don't have to follow it. It's my personal habit. So how about we generate this new variable and then list a frequency table for this new variable. So how about we highlight row 138 until row 140 and see the result. Okay, so for people who worked 0 weeks, the result will be 0 months. So that's okay. So and we see this value starts from 0 and it ended up to be 13. Well, I know that common sense, right? We have at most only 12 months a year. So how can we end up a 13 months a year? So there must be something wrong in this calculation. So we don't want this result. If you don't like this new variable, you can delete it by issue a command drop followed by a space and this new variable name. Okay, so drop means that you delete this variable from your data file. This kind of operation is very risky. It has the potential risk to destroy your original data. Therefore, this kind of command with potential risks cannot be shorthanded. You have to spell drop in full. Okay, so now if you scroll down to the last row of your variable list, you see that MOSWRK is here as the last variable in your data file. And now you want to delete it. So how about we run row 145 to delete this variable. Now it's no longer here. If you scroll down to the last row of your variable list, you no longer see MOSWRK. You have already deleted it. A kind of improvement is that how about we generate this measurement of working months by using the formula like this. First of all, we multiply number of weeks worked last year by a constant of 0.230137. And then we take ceiling about this result. Okay. Ceiling means the next whole number to the calculation result. For example, if your result is a 1.0, the ceiling will be 1. And if your result is 1.1, the ceiling will be 2. Okay, it refers to the next whole number. Okay, so how about we highlight this row 146 and 147, and so that we can double check the calculation result. Click on Do button. Now you see that we have a new variable MOSWRK. It starts from 0 up to 12. It looks like our problem got solved. This time we no longer have 13 months a year. Okay, this is a brief introduction about how to use gen and drop to generate and delete a new variable. Okay, generate a new variable and delete a variable. Okay, and then that's all I have to cover for this video clip. Now you can close your log and then clear the data. Finally, you can exit from Stata. See you next time.